All right, after a successful day one in Dhaka, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, day two in Bangladesh's capital began with a visit to the historic Dhakeshwari temple, where he offered prayers. In fact, Modi was gifted a shawl, a memento and an idol of goddess Dhakeshwari. Modi also visited the Ramakrishna Mission, which is a branch of the Belur Mutt in West Bengal, which Modi had visited last month. He spent around 20 minutes there and was gifted books on the life of Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramhans. Modi then visited the new Chancery complex, where he inaugurated 6 projects undertaken with grant and aid and also interacted with the beneficiaries. Later in the day, Modi will meet the President of Bangladesh, Mohammad Abdul Hamid. Modi will also receive the Award of Liberation of War to be conferred on former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee for his outstanding support during the 1971 Liberation War when he was a Lok Sabha member. This will be followed by another meeting with Bangladesh's opposition and left leaders. Modi will also meet former Bangladesh Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia. We have with us in our studio former diplomat Mr. G. Parthasarathi. Sir, first I'd like to ask you about the award that is being conferred in just a short while from now on former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now, what was the exact role, if you can help us understand, that he played during 1971?
You see, people, when the Pakistani army crackdown started in Bangladesh, this was I think March 26, 1971, there was a lot of diffidence and no clarity about how things would take their course. But as the refugees started pouring in and ultimately reached a figure of 10 million, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was one who very strongly supported the Bangladeshi cause, the need to render full support to the Bangladeshis who had crossed the border, the need for diplomacy very strongly, and it was generally advised, followed by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, who herself conducted it quite brilliantly.
Yes.
And therefore, at that point in time, though we did not have the post of a leader of opposition, he was the leader of the BJP at that point in time in Parliament, and therefore his support was important in building national unity and consensus in India for the need for very tough action. Remember, 10 million refugees, this was not affecting all of India, but crowded into the northeast, into Tripura, into Assam, largely into West Bengal, and Meghalaya. He was crucial in sort of firming up national determination to act.
All right. So he was the president of the Bharatiya Jan Sangh at that point. Also, I'd like to know from you is that so far, because largely the Congress has been in power, has only Indira Gandhi's role been highlighted as, I mean, you've said she played the most important role, of course. Have the roles of other people not been highlighted that well?
I would think outside the political sphere, I think General Sam Manakshaw, and also the Army Commander General Jagjit Singh Arora.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is it was a war where both the Army and Navy played a very distinct role. It was Air Chief Marshal Lal who neutralized the complete air defenses of East Pakistan.
Yes.
And it was the then Naval Chief Admiral Nanda who knocked out the port facilities in Chittagong and neutralized the Pakistan Navy. I think we've paid less interest and less attention to those martyrs.
To the non-political entities who played a great role in that war. Sir, let me get in a word from our correspondent Manogya Loiwal, who's joining us from Dhaka. She's tracking all the events of the Prime Minister there. Manogya, take us through the preparations and the enthusiasm surrounding the conferring of this award on Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Well, it's been a huge response as far as Dhaka is concerned, Bangladesh is concerned. The kind of excitement and optimism that we've seen and the chemistry that we've seen between the leaders this time, and the fact that one of the highest civilian awards will be now conferred to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the former Prime Minister of India. who's also a Bharat Ratna. He's received the highest civilian award of India, but now he's also being honored with one of the highest civilian awards of Bangladesh. Remember, he's not the first Prime Minister to be offered. So prior to him, Indira Gandhi was offered, was conferred with this award. But what is more important is that he's the first non-Congress entity, he's the first non-Congress Prime Minister to be offered such a award. This, of course, is one of the most important awards that is conferred by the Bangladesh government, by Bangladesh, to people who have been instrumental and have been extremely served as a catalyst in the liberation war of Bangladesh.
Okay.
Remember, during that tenure, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was a member of parliament, and he was also a leader of Bharatiya Janata Sangh, and it was that time when he had helped people in gathering support, in garnering support at various levels for the war of liberation of Bangladesh, and perhaps that's the reason why his contribution is now being acknowledged at this stage.
All right, Manogya, do stay on with us. In fact, Manogya spoke a short while back with BJP spokesperson MJ Akbar about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's trip to Bangladesh. Let's listen in to what MJ Akbar had to say.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Dhaka has been one of the most talked about visit in Bangladesh. To talk more on this, we have with us Mr. MJ Akbar, who's also on the delegation with him. Give us an idea on how prosperous was this meeting and how successful was it?
I think this is an absolutely transformative meeting. I've described it before, and I am happy to do so again. By saying that a second foundation has been laid in relations between India and Bangladesh. And this time, because we have now 40 years of experience, and also this time, because we have enormous clarity of vision on the part of our Prime Minister, and a vision that extends to an economic renaissance of the East. An new, economically integrated, interconnected East, which will lead, in our view, a great revival.
It's a known fact that Khalida Zia government has never been pro-India. How do you plan and how do you see ahead the meeting with of Prime Minister Narendra Modi with Khalida Zia?
The most important development of Narendra Modi ji's visit is the absolute transformation in the attitude of the people. Today, this morning he went to Dhakeshwari temple. I was happy to be with him, and then he went to Ramakrishna Mission, where again you see the sacrifice and dedication of the monks who are working so hard for the people. But along the way, I hope you saw the crowds that lined up on either side of the street. This is electrifying. You can see the support in their eyes. You can see the warmth of welcome in the eyes. I tell you, I have been coming to Dhaka now for nearly 4 decades. I have never, in fact a few years ago, if you asked me that this could have happened, I would not have believed it. But this is what is driving. Why? I'll ask you a question. Why does even an organization like Jamaat-e-Islami welcome this visit? It is because it is being driven by the people. The people are saying, you cannot come in the way of our prosperity and of our joint peace and prosperity. That's the spirit and the message. I've written that with this relationship, Sheikh Hasina has actually changed the dynamics of Bangladesh politics. This is it. Today, the parties that used to politicize a hostile relationship with India discover that there is no support for it. And once they discover there is no support for it, willy-nilly, they are on side.
Let me go back to our guest in the studio, Mr. G. Parthasarthi. Sir, our correspondent there asked the BJP spokesperson about the meeting that the Prime Minister has later in the day with Khalida Zia. Now, all eyes are keenly trained on that, clearly because India has never hidden the fact that Sheikh Hasina is better for the ties between the two nations. So, how are we really viewing this meeting, knowing that equation?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, and I can't be hyperbolic like a party spokesman, the reality, you should recognize the reality of Bangladesh. There is a battle within for the soul of Bangladesh. There is the values of Tagore and Nazrul Islam, the poetry, the culture, the composite culture, if one may call it, of that country. Sonar Bangla is really not a religious identity to that country. On the other hand, you do have a strong religious element.
Yes.
You cannot ignore that factor. Sheikh Hasina represents the composite secular ideals of Nazrul Islam, the poetry of Nazrul Islam, as Bangla Sangeet and what have you. So, whereas there are others who say, for us to be different from West Bengal, we have to remember that we have a separate Islamic identity. Now, this is the tussle for the soul of Bangladesh.
So,
I think what the
yes.
Modi visit has done, it has increased the strength of those and the numbers of those who speak of a sonar Bangla, a secular Bangla. But to pretend or to believe that the other challenges or political challenges will go away, I think would be asking for too much.
So, even though, you know, you said Sheikh Hasina is of course better for the nation as far as Sonar Bangla is concerned, the composite culture at this point is also under threat because we are seeing a lot of intolerance, at least towards freedom of speech. There have been at least 2 bloggers who have been killed. So, even though India says that, you know, Sheikh Hasina government is doing its best, isn't it still wanting in its attempt to curb that sort of intolerance?
Don't forget Taslima Nasreen cannot go back.
Yes, exactly.
So yes, but this is the point of it. In a society which was for years based primarily on a religious identity, these are the pressures and pull which will exist. Secular India has to set that example for them and see to it that by our relationship with them, those who speak of a composite culture of the values of the 1971 freedom struggle, they are more influential. Now, coming back to Khalida Zia, let us be very, very real. She has never been well disposed towards India. Her political alignments are towards the religious right, including the Jamaat Islami.
So I'll just interrupt you there for 1 minute because we're getting fresh visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with the Bangladesh President, and those visuals are there on our television screens at the moment. Yes, sir. You were talking about how Khalida Zia has also done nothing much really, and as far as ties with India are concerned,
She has fostered terrorism.
yes.
And I'm willing to say that. And I can give you examples when I was in Myanmar what she was doing.
So why don't you give us some?
I'll do that.
All right. We also have with us at this moment our correspondent Manogya Loiwal. Manogya, you were talking to the BJP spokesperson about the enthusiasm that is being seen in Bangladesh. We know that a red carpet welcome was given to the Prime Minister. There are huge cutouts of the Prime Minister all across in Dhaka. But have you been able to get a sense from the general public as to how they view this visit?
Well, a very optimistic approach. All the people I've been talking to, I didn't hear one of them saying that they were against the visit. Remember, in a country like Bangladesh or Dhaka, there's no sentiments hidden. It's all on the face, and it's in face rather. And that's one of the experiences that we've had in our past visits also. This time, interestingly, despite all the traffic jam that the city has been seeing because the VVIP visit, none of them have been found complaining. In fact, they feel that they are benefiting out of the friendship and the amicable relationship that the two countries now share. The bilateral trade is benefiting. They are benefiting as far as the funds are concerned. More than 200 crore rupees have been announced on the line of credit for the country. This will, of course, give them more opportunities, more investment, and in days to come, they will see a better economy also.
Okay. Mr. G. Parthasarathi seems to disagree with some of the points there.
Listen, I'm not disagreeing. Certainly, Mr. Modi's visit has changed the atmospherics in Bangladesh.
Yes.
Particularly the fact that he secured a unanimous parliamentary resolution on a dispute we have had since 1947.
Yes.
So for them it is major. They're a smaller country than ours, and for once after all these years, which is 53, 68 years, they've got a border which is defined and secure. So I think that is a source of great
But
relief.
what about trade and things like that which you seem to disagree with?
Let me say this. On investments and our economic involvement, it will be greatly welcomed. As it is, the major problem which Bangladesh faces in its economy is power.
Yes.
We are giving them, already in the process of giving them 500 megawatts from Bangladesh, from West Bengal, and another 200 megawatts from Tripura. A 1,300 megawatt power station is under construction in within Bangladesh by the National Thermal Power Corporation from India with their Bangladesh counterparts. We are looking at expanding this through the private sector involvement.
Yes.
For Sheikh Hasina's re-election, if every Bangladesh house gets the electricity it needs, it will be a major factor in her coming back.
Okay.
It will also be a major factor in recognizing India's ability to contribute to their welfare. But let us be very, very clear on trade. On trade, we export 6 billion. We import 400 million, which is a more skewed trade than we have with China, in China's favor. They have been pressing us for a long time that even on items like their silk saris and all, we should cool off. So I hope, I'm certain Mr. Modi will take those steps to go ahead. But these are complex problems.
Okay.
The other factor you can't ignore is that in such a visit, no political party can go against the public mood. Here is a public mood which says that after 70 years of independence, at long last we've got safe and secure borders, and the maritime boundary was settled just a couple of months ago. It's a huge relief.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
No political party can run against it. But it would be foolish to ignore the fact of the strength of elements inimical to India which will have to be dealt with.
Well, absolutely. But something that had been hanging fire for 42 years has finally been...
No, 42 years was after Indira Gandhi's side. But as far as they are concerned, they've not had secure borders since 68 years, since 1947.
So, of course, this is a watershed moment, as the Prime Minister has already
that
put
is
it.
the point.
Yes.
Therefore, political parties or anyone, not even the Jamaat Islami, is in a position to challenge that public mood.
Really
but to pretend the Jamaat Islami is falling in love with us,
no.
I'm sorry. That's
all right.
Okay.
There are problems that India and Bangladesh really need to sort out as well. But at least there has been some movement made in this visit.
Absolutely, it's transformative.